Hello again, Achieve Virtual Education Academy teachers. Another wonderful week down. It was a short week, no long weekend this upcoming weekend, so I hope you enjoyed your Labor Day. And man, I could have used that extra day. I don't know about you guys. You're probably a little bit thankful for the shorter week, but man, we just don't have enough time in the days around here. Moving on. This is it. We are in final countdown mode. Last day we'll be accepting applications is Thursday, September 15th. That is for full-time students. The part-timers will continue to take, so if you don't have kids and those kinds of things, we're going to do one last number crunching on teachers this Friday to see where we're at. But part-timers who are paying through other schools, Ben Davis Day School kids that need these extra classes, Ben Davis University, those will still get placed. But full-time enrollment, we're going to close the application down this Thursday. The reason we don't close it and just go till Friday like the rest of our schools is we have to request records. Technically they have to be in attendance, so we kind of count that phone call for that first Thursday, but that gives our office time to clean everybody up on Friday. It's not like they walk in and enroll and we put them in classes like it might in a traditional school. So if you're wondering, that is why. So just kind of a heads up on that. So final countdown, then we close. We close until December, which will start taking applications in December through January for that spring enrollment. No-shows or students who disappeared. I've heard from 3 teachers consistently. I may have heard from a few others, but John Wentland, Jenny Ackroyd, Kay Jordan, thank you. As we get to count day, which is that September 16th date, that Friday a week from now, we really need to have our data cleaned up, so we need to know who's attending and who's not. So if you have not done so already, look through your rosters. It's been a month, especially if you've had them for a month. If Miss Goodnight just placed them last week, I understand not submitting their name. But if they're starting to go 2 weeks without working and they're not communicating with you, please let us know so we can follow up and move forward accordingly. A lot of times if they're over 18, we end up just withdrawing them as disinterest. If they're under 18, we have to go through some more hoops and try to scare them into getting back on track, or submit the missing paperwork and withdraw them as missing for the student clearinghouse. So just kind of FYI on that. But without knowing, it's harder for me to track that with the students and to view their progress without you shooting me their names. So I need to know those. So thank you for those of you that have. I'm trying to do a nice job of keeping up on it and then copying a snapshot of those students and sending that to you with the information so you kind of know what I've done, the action I've taken. One new Skyward lesson. Mrs. Ackroyd has submitted a question earlier this week, which we knew the answer to, but kind of wanted to put feelers out again if there was anything new we've maybe learned about Skyward that we can or can't do. Genius, we used to have the community communication tool where you kind of could see what other teachers were emailing, writing, and view it that way. We don't really have that outside of creating shared docs for everyone, and we're not going to do that. It's just not enough manpower to do that logistically. But one thing did come up. Should something arise in a conversation or email from you with a student that you think all the teachers should know about, in Skyward, when you're on the student profile page, there is an email teachers function. It's a button or link on the right side of that profile screen. Again, you're really probably only going to use that should something come up with that student that you think all the teachers should probably need to be aware of. So just kind of FYI, again, it's not perfect. It's not what we're used to over the last 4.5 years, but at the same time, it is something. There is something there that can help you potentially if you need to make sure teachers are aware of something going on with a student. Or parent in some cases. Professional development, the Indiana Department of Education, Michelle and I met with Star Hairston, our outreach coordinator for our D letter grade as we're a focus school, regarding our professional development plans, kind of wanting to see those, and working with Michelle. She wants to kind of see how she interacts with you guys this year and work, really trying to get into some online teachers' classrooms. So we're going to work through that with primarily the leadership team of our Ben Davis Extended Day School students, but if some of you are available at other times, we might reach out to you. Again, this isn't a positive way, so it's not negative. I don't want anybody to think negatively about it, but she is going to be looking at this year's individualized learning plans. So not only do we want you to focus on trying to get better at your craft in your traditional classroom and here at Achieve, obviously our focus is going to be a little more on Achieve, but we got to make sure everyone's doing their best to participate and trying to obtain those PGPs through your professional growth as an online teacher. So if you haven't already touched base with Michelle or completed the first task in order to start this process for the school year, please do so. Again, we gave the time of we're not meeting monthly, but you are going to have to carve out some time to complete the tasks. It is for PGPs, so if you're thinking it's just going to be 5-minute assignments, it's not going to be the case. You can't ethically do that. So, some of her first task, the survey is a little bit involved. So if you haven't already taken care of that, please do so. Just keep in mind, it is for professional growth. It's not just something on the side. We are a high school, so I think sometimes some of us we can get lost in what we're doing, and I completely understand. But now's a good reminder. We're a full month into the swing of things. We're 4 weeks away from fall break, which is crazy to think about. But at that point, you're halfway through semester one. A quarter of the school year is gone already. So I don't want us or our online kids to get forgotten about. We are their only school for the full-time students, so we need to do our best that we can to educate them. Crazy to talk about. I've already mentioned this, but our office, we always advertise that students can continue to work through the breaks. So we don't really have breaks. They can take their break anytime. They could be on a vacation this week, and we wouldn't necessarily know unless they've told you. So fall break isn't a time for the online kids to sit and do nothing. They can continue to work. So that being said, 4 weeks to go. It might be something you start planting the seeds about your availability. Should that be different over the fall week period? We do 2-week fall breaks here. Some schools where maybe some of you are teaching don't, but please don't disappear on your kids for a full 2 weeks. That gets the parents very antsy. So just make sure you're communicating well what your availability will be through the break period if you and your family is taking a break. I certainly understand taking a break. I take breaks, but shooting off a quick email or response to an antsy student or parent only takes a minute or two during that time. So please don't totally disappear on them. Again, this will also be, as usual, the first payout, that first 9 weeks period. So that first week, our office is open. The second week, the offices are closed. That's generally when I do our family trip, but that first week we'll be in the office, and I'll be working on teacher payouts, so I'll be sending those for you to review, verify, and then submitting to the Ed Center before the end of the week. Hopefully by that, no later than that Wednesday, be sending those off for your first payout of the school year. Make sure your rosters are as up to date and as accurate as possible as far as who started, even if they dropped and that kind of thing. It's going to be fun for me trying to figure out, especially if you have Ben Davis Learning Center students, who to pay out for. I'm still looking into how I'm going to do that. I've got 4 weeks to figure it out, so I'll be getting with Michelle, potentially some Skyward people or It's Learning, to see what I can do to best map that out. So just FYI. Football's back. If you miss the game Thursday night, oh well. If you don't enjoy football, probably don't care, but enjoy the weekend regardless. It looks like potentially a little bit of rain, but anyways, have a great weekend, and I will see you all next week.